Hello, my name is Sally and I am one of the makeup artists working with Look Fabulous Forever, which is skincare, hair care and makeup specifically designed for older faces like mine. I am very pleased that spring has finally come in the UK and I want today to show you a makeup using some maybe slightly brighter colours, just to show you that you can use brighter colours and the right pop of a colour can really transform you. You can say I'm actually wearing quite a bright colour green today as well, which I always feel when the sun comes out and it starts to get that little bit of hope, I want to wear slightly brighter clothes as well. If you normally love neutral shades, particularly on your eyes, what is quite nice is to switch to pinks and mauves and sort of plums. They can also look great. They're not too different. They're not as different from sort of the browns and the neutrals as you might think. And even though I am warmer, I am going to use some maybe slightly different colours on my eyes today. And I'm also going to show you how you can adapt that if you are cooler toned. If you're not sure whether you're cooler or warmer toned, then go on the Look Fabulous Forever website to do our very, very simple colour quiz. And that hopefully will be able to allow you to decide whether you are warmer or cooler. But today I'm going to have a little bit of fun with some slightly brighter colours, particularly on my eyes. So let's get going. We've had a very wet winter here in the UK, so it's lovely to have a little bit of brightness and some blue sky out there, and it definitely makes me feel just a little bit generally brighter all over. So what have I done first? I have this morning cleansed my face gently and I have used my SPF plus 50 serum, which is really important as we are getting the sun's rays. I wear it all year round, but it's really important when you are, like I am, quite pale and you're suddenly going to get a little bit more UVA, UVB sunlight on your face. So I've done that. I have then used a little bit of my Hydration Hold Serum followed by my Smooth the Face Day Cream. And I have let that sink in completely before I start the makeup process, which I'm going to start now. Really important to let those moisturising layers and serums go in first. The first product that I'm going to use today is Smooth Like Silk Face Prime. So this is my all over face prime that I use every single day. It is just as it says on the tin. You don't need very much, a couple of pumps. I put this on with my fingers and it just smooths out any open pores, any fine lines, and means that when I put my foundation or my Light Look Beauty Balm on, it goes on to a really smooth surface. As we get older, our skin is not as smooth as it was when we were younger. So this, it goes a little bit more like blotting paper, your skin, and sometimes foundation goes on a little bit more patchily. So this stops that from happening. And it also means that I can put my foundation on in the morning and it will look just as good when I take it off at night. I don't have to touch it up at all, which I love. So preparing the skin with the face prime. So today I am going to be using Light Look Beauty Balm. I'm still quite pale from the winter, so I'm going to use the shade 0.5. But I'm also going to add, I still need a little bit of extra help, so I'm going to add a little bit of Continuous Cover Foundation in shade 2, but only a tiny amount of this, and a little pump, a small pump of my face prime as well. So I'm mixing them all on the back of my hand. So about that much of the Light Look Beauty Balm. And then just a tiny, tiny pump of foundation and a little bit of primer. So I put those on my hand, and now what I'm going to do is to take my lovely foundation brush number 10 and just blend those together on my hand. And now I'm going to just put them on using the brush, painting it sort of down the centre to start with. And then I'm just going to blend and buff it to the outer edges of my face. Right, what I'm going to do now is to just give myself a little bit of extra help with the Cover to Cover concealer. So this is shade 02. So this is our lovely creamy concealer. And I'm going to take my concealer brush number 4, and I look quite dark under my eyes. Haven't been sleeping very well. So I'm going to put a little bit into the inner corners of my eyes where it's a little bit bluey, and just tap that with my finger. And that instantly brightens up my eye area. You can see that. I'm also going to put a little bit, not too much, but just in the darker area of my under eye, which is this little portion here. It's got tea tree oil, and it's just a really creamy product. So it doesn't sit in lines. Just pat it with your ring finger, and you can just use it where you need that bit of extra help after using your foundation or your beauty balm. So I've got a few little areas that I always conceal. You'll get to know your little personal sunspots or your personal pigmentation. That's what makes you unique, but sometimes I want to cover it. If you've got broken capillaries around your nose area, it's quite nice just to put a little bit of extra concealer around that area too, and they'll just disappear like magic. Now, next step is to set that. And we're going out, so I want it to stay really, really well. So I'm going to use my translucent powder, which is a beautiful, really sheer, although it's a pressed powder, it's so super fine that it will just not sit in all my lifelines. I call them my lifelines. I'd rather have them than not have them. So just dust it all over. And you can, if you want to, if you have put a little bit of concealer under the eyes, what you can do is to take our brush number 7. So this is the eyeshadow brush. Take a little bit of powder and just put a little bit more where you have concealed smaller areas. So if you have concealed a little spot or a sunspot, then you can just use the little brush just to give yourself a little bit of extra help there. Okay, right, what I'm going to do now, as I have done my powder, I'm going to add just a sweep of bronzer just to brighten my face up a little bit. I'm looking very pale. Just a sweep over here. And a little bit on my neck area. Okay, I'm going to start working on my eyes. So the next product that I'm going to use is Smooth Out Eye Prime, which is this one. And it only comes in one shade. It's a very, very clever product. I'm going to just put a little bit, no more than that much. You can either just put, in fact, I will just put it on with my fingers today, just to show you how quick and easy it is. So just put it on your eyelids, and then I am just going to take my concealer brush number 4. You could just blend it in with your fingers, or you can, like I'm doing, just blend it in with your concealer brush. So make sure you put this product onto dry, oil-free, clean eyelids. And what it does is it will disguise any little broken veins or discoloration on your eyelid and stop your eyeshadow from creasing as the day wears on. So at this stage, just what I like to do is to put my Never Feather lip prime on, just so that I've done all my primers, so that it will dry before I put my lipstick on. So just on the outer edge of your lips to stop any feathering and bleeding of lipstick. If that's a problem, as you get older, you get a few little lines on the top vertical lines on your mouth, and this will stop your lipstick from moving. Brilliant. Simple but brilliant. Okay, so my eyes today. As I said, I'm going to use I'm swapping my sort of normal warm browns for slightly more purple, which is actually very in this spring. If you look at some of the magazines, some of the models are wearing lilacs and purples and mauves. So I'm going to be brave today, and I'm going to use one of our quite exciting, it's called Deep Mauve. So this wouldn't be a colour that you'd think I could wear. I'm not going to put it all over, but I'm going to use it as an accent colour. So what I am going to use all over is rose gold. I could have chosen caramel pink or dusky pink, but I'm going with something that's got, although it is pinky, it's got a bit of peach in it as well, which will suit me quite well, hopefully. I often wear this when I'm sort of doing the neutral look. So let me get my eyeshadow brush number 7. So this is a no shimmer shade, so it hasn't got any shimmer in it, and it is a peachy pink, really, that's the only way to describe it. Rose gold, very, very, very natural colour. It's got a little bit of warmth in it, but you can wear it if you're cooler as well. It's sort of one of our neutral shades. And I'm just going to put this all over my eyelid and bring it up to just above my socket line. Make sure you put enough of the base colour on so that when you are using accent colours in your crease or in your socket line, they've got something to adhere to. And now I'm going to take our shade in Deep Mauve. So this is quite highly pigmented, so I'm only going to use a small amount, and therefore I'm using a smaller brush to apply it. So this is our brush number 9. So it's a slightly firmer, slightly smaller eyeshadow brush. And I'm going to just take a small amount, just take it off on my hand so I haven't got loads of it on the brush because it's quite strong. And now I'm going to just use it just above my socket line. You can see it doesn't come out as strong if you put it on like this. And then I'm coming just down onto the base of the lashes. So again, about here, trying to match it up roughly. And it never looks right at this point, so don't panic. It just looks like I've got a pinky purple splodge. But never fear, it will sort itself out when I blend it. So I'm going to take my blender brush, which is the first brush, and I am just going to really blend it well. This look is really good actually if you've got blue eyes or if you've got brown eyes, because it just makes your eyes really pop. But it's not a colour that people are often sure about wearing on their eyes. So you've got to trust the process of the blending and the fact that you're going to put some eyeliner on and some mascara and other things. You could go even more lilac-y and wear lilac mist underneath, or you could wear, as I said, dusky pink as a base. So You can play around with the slightly purpley, cooler colours as well. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I am going to use an eyeliner, and I'm going to use two different ones. I'm going to use soft grey on the top, just to make my lashes look thicker. I'm going out to in, slightly lifting it on the outer edge. As you can see, I'm pinching my eye inwards so that I've got a nice smooth area to work with, because it's not naturally smooth. If I do that, it's quite bobbly. So a little bit of soft grey on the top. And I'm going to use a slightly different one on the bottom. I am going to use warm taupe, this one on the bottom, which is a little bit lighter in colour. And what I'm going to do now is to add that, I want to add that a little bit more pinky purple. So I am going to go back with my deep mauve, and I'm going to take my trusty wedge brush, number 8, and just going to take a little bit of the mauve onto my wedge brush. I'm just going to hold this up here. I'm just going to literally press it into the base of my lashes. So I'm going over the soft grey eyeliner. So you can just see it's made it look a little bit purpley, but without going mad. I could have just used the soft purple eyeliner that we have as well, but I just want to show you different techniques. So this is, I wanted a slightly darker eyeliner on the top just to thicken my lashes. And because I've put it over the warm taupe, it doesn't look quite as dark. It looks a little bit warmer and more natural underneath, which is what I wanted. So it will soften it, and it will also set the eyeliner and stop it from moving. So you can see that's just given me that extra little tiny bit of mauvey look. What I'm going to do now is to put some mascara on. I need to, because I've got kind of so strongish around my eyes, I need to finish that off with mascara. So I'm going to use today, I'm going to curl my eyelashes first of all, just to give them a bit of a spring-like oomph upwards. If you've not tried curling your eyelashes, it does make such a difference. You can see that one's just curled up. I'm going to use the Lithe Lash Mascara in Black Waterproof, which Look Fabulous Forever make, and it's lovely. Hasn't got nasty bits and clumps. And I like to just slightly blink onto my mascara wand. I find that then you get right to the roots and the base of the lashes, and you can wiggle the wand through. Take your time if you can on the mascara part, because if you do it quickly, you will sneeze or blob, and then you will spend more time removing the blobs. So you can build it up as much as you want. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to finish off my brows, and before doing that, I'm going to use our lovely Instant Bright highlight. I call this my magic pen, and this is a little highlighter with a clicky pen that you can just use where you want to bring a little bit of light. So I just use it under the highest part of my brow, So I quite like to do this now before I put my Bring Back Brow on. You see that's just brightened up. It just makes your brows look sharper as well. So while I've got it in my hand, I'm going to just use it on the top of my cheekbones, which again, on a lovely spring-like day, will then just make you look nice and glowy. So it's a really flattering highlighter for older skin. It's not too shimmery, but it just gives you that little bit of, as I said, dewiness. Put a bit there. I like to put a little bit actually sometimes on the top of my brows as well, and in my frown lines. It just softens the frown lines, and a little stripe down the centre of my nose too. Magic pen. I get very panicky when it runs out. Really like my magic pen. So I'm going to now just put a little bit of extra colour on my brows. I'm going to use my Bring Back Brow shape in shade Blonde. And the first thing I'm going to do is to use my spoolie brush just to groom my brows a little bit. This is my brush number 6. And now I'm going to shake the product, and this is a beautiful fine paintbrush, and it's a waterproof product. So again, like the waterproof mascara, once I've put it on, I know that my brows are not going to go walkies. They are going to stay in place all day. So just filling in a little bit where there are some gaps with little soft feathery strokes, and lengthening. You can use it to lift your brows slightly and lengthen where there's maybe a little bit of a gap on the end, which I've got. And now I'm going to go back with the spoolie brush and just soften it. So I now need some colour on my face and my lips, and I'm going to use today the pretty shade that is Desert Rose blusher. I feel like I need that bit of extra. It's a little bit stronger than Peach Cream, and I am quite pale as I've emerged from winter, so I want to give myself that little bit of extra colour today. Usually I use Peach Cream, but sometimes I like actually to have that little bit of extra, which is Desert Rose. And I'm going to use my blusher brush number 2. Just blend that in. The blushes are beautiful because they are a cream that then turn into a silky powder. So it allows you to place them well, blend them well. They don't sit on the skin and they don't sink into the skin. So just really easy to use. You can just use your fingers, or you can, like I've done, use the brush, or you can put them on with your fingers like I do and then blend them with the brush. So today I am going to use my defining lip liner in Roseberry, which is this one. And I'm going to outline my lips and then fill in. So these liners are really soft, which work well on older lips, which often are a little bit drier. I did put some balm on last night, some lip balm. And I often put lip balm on in the morning before I do my makeup, just to soften my lips up for the day. And then I just wipe it off before I start. So that's a good tip too. So you can see how that glides on. Now I'm going to fill it in. Roseberry is one of my personal favourite lip liners, but I'm going to go a little bit stronger with my lips today. I am using, this is quite a spring-like colour. It's called Sunset Glow. So it's this one. So it's a kind of peachy, but it's not quite as strong as True Coral, but I like it. So but it's quite a nice, quite a vibrant colour, with particularly with the roseberry underneath. Obviously I'm warmer toned, so you might want to go for something a bit brighter. You could use tulip pink, you could use even fuchsia if you are cooler. So I'm now going to go back and a sweep of extra bronzer, because I'm warmer. I like to do that just at the end. Just a little bit of extra bronzer. Again, you probably wouldn't do this if you were cooler toned. And just take a cotton bud at this stage and just check for any little blobs. So there we have the finished look. Hopefully you can see I have used the deep mauve, but even though I'm warm, I've used it with a slightly warmer rose gold base. If you are cooler toned, then do try either using the dusky pink or the lilac you could use, and then try using the deep mauve. You could even use a little bit of aubergine over your, maybe if you are cooler, you could use the navy, or you could use, again, the grey would work well, and put maybe aubergine or the deep mauve over it using your wedge brush, and obviously using maybe a cooler blusher, and maybe using something like, yeah, you could use Petal Pink blusher or Rosy Glow blusher would work really well, and then maybe a brighter, more cool lip shade, maybe even fuchsia. You could go fuchsia. So hopefully that's given you, or tulip pink as I said earlier, so hopefully that's given you a few ideas for using some slightly brighter, slightly more unusual colours, particularly on your eyes, as the spring has sprung and everything is starting to blossom. And I hope you can have a little bit of fun. Hope you've enjoyed today's video. If you have used the deep mauve or some of the slightly unusual colours, then let us know. As I said, they work really well with both blue eyes and brown eyes. So yeah, let us know how you get on, whether you've used them like me, or whether you use them just as accents or all over, or what you've mixed them with. We love to hear what you've used and how that has worked for you. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and we love to hear your comments below. Thank you. Bye bye.